We are now reacting to why aren't actors ugly anymore?
We came, we saw, we kicked its ass!
Bill Murray was 33 when he shot Ghostbusters.
That's right, boys.
And in the 70s and 80s, this is what actors in their 30s and 40s look like. But something has changed since then, because actors that age today don't look like this anymore.
I lost my hand!
They look like this. Or like this. Actors today need to have great hair, perfect skin, and be in flawless shape. They don't look like regular people anymore, they look like supermodels. This isn't every single actor, but it's clear there's been an overall change in how A-list performers look. And it's also how they're shown to the camera.
It's crazy how people used to look so much older for their age. You can see here, he is supposed to be 26 years old, but he looks like 40 or something.
Like in low lighting and with more vibrant colours. They're surrounded by other people and on an actual set rather than a green screen.
Everything's under control, situation normal.
You're probably going to say this is because of a wider trend of movies looking bland and flat nowadays, and things like bad lighting, dull colours and the Netflixy look make basically everything in modern movies look worse.
I love Spider-Man.
And also, we can't ignore cosmetic surgery.
That's my plastic surgeon always said.
But if you look at movies from before the millennia, it's hard to deny that the actors looked more like regular people.
Keep it still back there, lady, or else we're gonna have to shoot you.
Okay, so the word ugly is a bit harsh, and I'm not trying to objectify or body shame anyone. Most people who are cast in movies
Body shaming is not real.
aren't unpleasant to look at. I just mean that they have bodies and faces
Why is this a moving scene? We don't need to see his ass. Cut it out.
that could theoretically belong to a normal person without the aid of personal trainers, dietitians and plastic surgeons. They look like normal everyday people you could see walking down the street.
I need a man who has powerful friends.
Bruce Willis, Bill Murray and Jack Nicholson aren't bad looking guys, but they have a sort of everyman appeal that we just don't see in today's stars.
That's true.
Saw it on the television.
And a big part of this is that today, people just generally look younger.
That's what I was just saying. People nowadays look younger, and it's because they smoke less, they have a healthier lifestyle, and in general, our generation is just better.
Physical, clean,
Age.
26.
There's a great Vsauce video from a few years ago that goes into this in more detail. Essentially, the clothes and overall style has changed, and combined with better medical care, nutrition and less smoking, people are healthier and better looking.
Exactly.
I guess I started smoking when I was about 4.
So here's a few age comparisons that highlight this in
My
action.
mom was already dead then from lung cancer.
Gene Hackman is 44 here. Actors in their mid-40s
He looks like 60.
today look like this,
Are we soulmates?
or like this. There's quite a big difference.
Just a little slap.
Sylvester Stallone was 30 when he first shot Rocky.
Look at his face.
A comparable actor today would be Timothée Chalamet at 29.
Young
But
pop!
they play very different types of characters. If we want to be fair, let's compare two all-American action stars.
Drop it, dickhead.
Glenn Powell, 35 in Twisters, and Bruce Willis, 33 in Die Hard. Robert Pattinson was 35 when he played Batman, and Michael Keaton was only 2 years older.
Bruce Wayne.
Are you sure?
But Keaton has visible lines around his mouth, his hair has receded a bit, and he has a subtle 5 o'clock
I like this Batman way more than the new ones, actually.
shadow that doesn't feel
What about you guys?
purposeful. But Pattinson, even though dressed up to look sleep-deprived and reclusive, has a chiseled jaw and
No, I don't like the new one. He's trying to look cool and he's just doing a bit too much.
perfect skin. Overall, he looks a lot younger.
That's interesting.
But there's something more at play than actors simply looking older in the past.
Frank, they're not here for you.
It's the kind of faces that have changed too.
Weird Al Yankovic is on the plane.
It's the everyman look, receding curly hair or imperfect skin. And it's because of these distinct features that characters had a stronger sense of personality just by looking at them.
Do you have any hobbies?
I collect spores, molds, and fungus.
In the opening of Once Upon a Time in the West, we meet 3 characters who don't survive the end of the scene.
I really like that movie.
But they all have an interesting look. Al Mullock has long hair blowing across his face and vibrant blue eyes. Jack Elam has the long eyebrows and beard that goes down his neck. And then Woody Strode looks completely different, with a square jaw and a piercing look. From their faces alone, we can get a level of understanding to their character. It's hard to put into words, but we get a feeling that this guy is going to behave differently to this guy. And then compare them to the station manager. We can understand the dynamic just from the way they look. You can say this is down to great casting, and to some extent it is, but ultimately, it's just these guys' faces that carry the entire
It's crazy how brown they are. They almost look like leather.
15-minute opening.
Oh, well, I suppose it'll be alright.
It's the same with the heads of the 5 families in The Godfather. Sure, they all look like mob bosses, but they have small differences in their appearance.
We're all grateful to Don Corleone for calling this meeting.
How they style their hair, the type of suit they wear, and how fat they are, all goes a long way to tell us about their character.
He had all the judges and politicians in his pocket.
And this isn't just limited to side
Wait, what does being fat tell you about a person? I'm generally curious.
characters. Even the leads in the past had a more interesting look. They didn't all look like supermodels.
You look like 40 miles of rough road.
This is people like Sissy Spacek, Leslie Nielsen, and Cher. They simultaneously look like a normal person, but also have a unique look.
Completely normal individual.
Kurt Russell in Escape from New York was big, but in shirtless scenes his abs have little definition. Bruce Willis was handsome, but his receding hairline and modest muscles retain a sort of everyman look. And compare how Hugh Jackman looked in the first X-Men film in 2000 to Deadpool Wolverine. So what is the effect of this?
This isn't an old movie, right? It looks pretty new.
What is the effect of seeing these regular looking people on screen? And how does seeing interesting faces work to make a movie better? Let's take a look at a few examples. This is Mia Farrow in Rosemary's Baby.
I'm Rosemary Woodhouse.
As the film progresses, she cuts her hair shorter and begins to look paler and thinner. Visually, we understand the transformation the character is undergoing.
I'm not changing. I just want to go to Dr. Hill and get a second opinion.
Would this work if she was played by someone like Margot Robbie? I don't think so. It's Mia Farrow's unique look that helps make the character feel like an actual person that could exist somewhere, which makes us empathise with her more.
Dr. Hill, please.
It's the same with John Travolta in Blowout, Shelley Duvall and Jack Nicholson in The Shining, and Malcolm McDowell in A Clockwork Orange.
It was horrible.
In Star Wars, Luke and his family look like fairly ordinary people, whereas Grand
I love Star Wars. Everybody who loves Star Wars, please comment 12.
Moff Tarkin and the Imperial officers have a much more austere look to them.
Fear will keep the local systems in line.
In the 20th century, the pool of actors to choose from seems to have been much more aesthetically varied than it is today. There was actors with big noses.
I got it, go ahead.
Big foreheads.
He's gonna prove it to the whole world.
Heavy-set eyes.
Did you know that?
And receding
That might be Eggman.
hairlines.
But you and me together, that'd be tops.
We subconsciously infer things about people's personality based on their features, which in turn helps.
Sorry, my brother came into my room. Skinny Pete, can you say something?
Yes.
What are you doing here?
I'm repairing the switch.
Okay, so you are allowed in my room currently, but you will have to leave soon.
A character without much heavy lifting.
Mentally, you picture my dog.
In Taxi Driver, De Niro's buddies look like real cab drivers you could actually find in New York. This guy, completely bald on top, but with a flow at the back. This guy with his scruffy beard and round glasses. And even De Niro himself with his 5 o'clock shadow and redness around his eyes. If you got into a cab and this was the driver, you wouldn't think twice.
Let me be completely honest. I think it was better how it was in the past. I don't like how it is nowadays. Everything always must be perfect, and it's just almost like today's movies don't really have a soul. Think of the last Marvel movies and Superman movies. They are all basically the same. They all basically have no soul, and movies from back in the day were completely different.
Did I tell you to do that with the meter?
All of these actors look like they actually belong in the setting rather than just walking out of a dressing room.
Can I talk to you for a second?
And this is environmental immersion. In 1976, after Sylvester Stallone went 15 rounds in Rocky, his face was soaking wet, his hair sticking to his head, and he's covered in blood with his face fully contorted with bruises. But in 2015, after Michael B. Jordan fought in Creed, he's just got a subtle sheen of sweat and a small bruise around one eye.
Stop! It's me!
At the end of Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire's suit is ripped to hell, revealing his bruised, dirty and sweaty face and this chaotic tear across his mask.
Mr. Osborn.
But for Tom Holland, he's got a couple of cuts that seem very intentionally placed, and his suit isn't ripped at all. His mask hasn't been torn open, but just neatly taken off.
Blondie?
Or is it maybe because Hollywood has a smaller budget today?
Water?
After Clint Eastwood walked 70 miles in the desert, his face is completely scarred and burned. We can barely recognize it. But today, there aren't many examples of actors.
Or is it maybe because movies have to be more family friendly for the kids?
looking scarred like this. It seems like everyone has to look perfect all the time. It's as if somewhere along the way almost every actor has taken the substance and transformed into a kind of picture-perfect version of themselves. Not a single wrinkle, not a hair out of place, and completely smooth skin. The best we'll get is maybe a small smear of dirt or a tiny cut. And they look great, but when everyone looks perfect, things start to get a bit stale. And sure, this isn't every single actor working today. You can still find distinct looking people, but it seems like it is the majority of them. In an article from 2021, Raquel S. Benedict likens our body to become an investment in which we have to maximize our value through looking good. We're reduced to a collection of features like perfect skin or a strong jawline. The body is no longer the vehicle through which we experience joy and pleasure, but a status symbol that needs to be constantly presentable to the world.
Put your greasy tits away, you preening slut.
For actors, this is taken to the extreme, especially for women. They can never age or show any imperfection. They need to be a bankable star, and a big part of this is looking good on camera.
Pretty girls should always smile!
Let's take hairlines as an example. Sure, Andrew Garfield probably got a hair transplant because he thought it would improve his appearance, but also because it's better to have a smaller forehead as a leading man. And with modern technology, if you can fix this, why wouldn't you?
Yes, Sergeant!
This just wasn't the case in the past, hence a wider spectrum of hairlines and a bigger aesthetic variety.
This is a really unpopular opinion now, but I actually think being bald, oftentimes it just looks better than like a perfect haircut.
I wouldn't touch one hair on his...
I mean, just think of Mahone from Prison Break. He's pretty bald as well, but it wouldn't look better if he wasn't bald. It looks cool that he's bald. Do you see what I mean?
Goddamn rule.
But today, this is becoming increasingly noticeable, and more people are commenting on it, and here are a few things they've said. I miss actors having normal teeth, and then a picture of Tom Cruise from The Outsiders.
Check this out, buddy.
It's so annoying and just plain boring that everyone has the same teeth, the same
completely agree.
Body. I miss people looking different and interested.
Restroom and make sure my hair is perfect.
I watched Invasion of the Body Snatchers last night, and it stood out to me that while Sutherland is hot, he's also clearly in his 40s. Like if Hollywood wanted to make a movie of a 40-something A-lister playing a middle-aged health inspector, who would they cast? Ryan Reynolds? Chris Evans?
I got this.
We no longer have leading men who are good-looking and charismatic, but also don't look like they wake up at 5 AM to hit the gym. On Twitter, someone was talking about the 1974 movie Taking of Pelham 123. They said it's weirdly invigorating to watch a movie where every actor has an incredible face, and they all look normal, like no veneers in sight.
This is supposed to be a democracy.
Old actors have more grace than current ones. We can't have a truly accurate cast for the Beatles because they just don't make weird, crusty-looking young men actors like that anymore. I miss casting movies that weren't all A-listers or trying to be. Sometimes just having normal-ass people in.
But then why is Hollywood doing all this when the majority of people don't even like it?
Your movie makes it feel more realistic. To which someone,
does it have something to do with dark psychology, maybe?
Replied, convinced this will be the downfall of the Odyssey. Which brings us on to perhaps a good label to put on this kind of perfect looking A-lister we see today. iPhone face. It's hard to define, but I think it's basically this kind of pristine look that most actors seem to have. It's why some people look out of place in period pieces, because they've got a modern haircut or their teeth are too white. They're striving for a kind of look that didn't really exist before the 21st century. And this speaks to a kind of aesthetic that many modern movies have. They're perfectly lit, the set perfectly designed, the actors in perfectly clean clothes. But this kind of perfection just makes it all look boring. It's the messiness of a normal kitchen, or the dirt kicked up from horses, the colour of the set,
exactly,
and the way it's lit. We're losing a sense of personality not only in how actors look, but in how films in general look.
Hello?
Digital cinematography has given everything the same kind of Netflixy feel. Look, this isn't every movie, and it's not every actor.
That's what I said, right? Every Marvel movie, every Star Wars movie nowadays, every Spider-Man, Batman, Superman, whatever man, they all look the same and they all look boring to me, sorry.
If you look for it, you can find interesting looking people in modern movies, but this whole change in how actors, and by extension movies in general, look, is a natural result of an industry that's afraid to take risks. Movies need to make money, so they minimise anything that could theoretically make the film less successful, but in the process, remove what makes it special. Both films and actors aren't ugly anymore. They're not dirty anymore or bruised anymore. No one looks normal, and everyone looks perfect. and this is a problem.
Totally agree. Great video from Archer Green. Alright guys, that's it for today's video. I hope you like it. See you again tomorrow. Peace.